I'm thinking he's ready. You know, he's been through the trials and tribulations. He's the King Slayer, and he's got the power. He's been there before. It's not an easy task, but he's definitely the man that can go through with it. He's done the work. He's gone through the pedigree, and he's a certified champion.
Lennox Lewis predicts a seismic shift in the heavyweight division, Dubois to flatten Usyk and claim undisputed glory. Meanwhile, Carl Froch, the former super middleweight world champion, has also offered a detailed take on the upcoming bout. Reflecting on his own retirement at age 36, Froch noted how difficult it becomes to maintain sharpness at the elite level once a fighter hits their late 30s.
Can he shock the world in a word? Yes, he can, because Usyk's 30, is he 38?
38, I think, yeah.
So, I've been 38, it was 9 years ago, but I know how it feels. I retired at 36, I was nearly 37. I was a month away from my 37th birthday when I chinned grows at Wembley in front of 80,000 fans and went on to become an International Boxing Hall of Famer. You know, that was 11 years ago. And it was hard for me, and I did the weight easy, really. I say easy because I'm not lying around in spacesuits trying to take weight off. I'm actually eating all week, and I'm doing it properly, professionally, like most of all of Famers, world champs. They do it correct. Roy Jones, Floyd Mayweather. They don't struggle at weight. They get down to the weight. They do it properly. They get in the ring.
Usyk, now 38, might still appear dominant on the surface, but Froch pointed out that age doesn't just slow down the body, it slows the mind too. According to him, Usyk's reflexes are not what they once were, and the wear and tear of hundreds of amateur and professional fights is bound to show up sooner or later.
And it's not easy, but it's not traumatic like some of these guys make it.
No.
You know what I mean? And I just think that Usyk, at 38 years old, although he's not got the issue with weight because it's heavyweight, you can weigh what you want.
True.
He's still got a mind that's slowing down. He's still got reflexes that are diminishing. He's still got old joints and old bones.
Yeah,
he's got
Tyson Fury fights.
Hundreds of fights in the amateurs.
While Froch acknowledged that Usyk remains the favorite, he believes the fight is far more competitive now than many fans might expect. Froch highlighted Dubois' recent form, including big wins over Jarrell Miller, a statement performance against Filip Hrgovic, and even a shocking knockout victory over Anthony Joshua. These results, Froch argued, prove that Dubois is not only in peak form, but also a legitimate force in the division. He described Dubois as a machine who has matured and evolved since his first encounter with Usyk, when he was less confident.
And Dubois was young, fresh, and the first fight was quite close when Dubois was unsure of himself. And Dubois gone and flattened AJ. Had a couple of fights with Jarrell Miller, he's looked good against Hrgovic. You've got to say that Dubois now is a different machine.
Self-confidence will be...
And time waits for no man, as the saying goes. I just think that this is a fight that's exciting. It's a good fight. You've got to make Usyk the favourite, but it's a fight that Daniel Dubois can definitely win. I don't think Usyk should keep fighting. I said, remember last fight with Tyson, I said once you beat Tyson, retire, that's it, you're done. Made $100 million.
Froch gave Usyk a narrow edge with a 55 to 45% chance of winning, but emphasized that Dubois has more than a puncher's chance.
I don't know, if I was going to put a percentage on it, I'd probably say it's quite close to even. So I'd probably give Usyk the edge, a 55% winner. Because if you get clipped, body or head, and Daniel Dubois is going to throw them shots. He's going to get close to him. But Usyk's got that superior boxing skills and that jab and that slick movement. But can he do that now for 12 rounds at 38 years old? Probably not. So he's going to have to opt to stay in the pocket, stay in range a little bit more. So it's a really, really interesting fight.
What round was the first one stopped in? You remember?
I think it was 8 or 9. And it was like off a jab, and Dubois kind of off gave up, and he got a bit of stick for it. But he'd exhausted himself. He landed that good body shot, stroke, low blow.
Low blow.
And it was like...
David Allen, another British heavyweight who has sparred with both fighters, echoed the growing belief that Dubois could pull off the upset. Having spent time in the ring with both men, Allen has a unique insight. Though he expressed admiration for Usyk's skills and character, Allen didn't hesitate in picking Dubois to win this time around. He pointed out that Dubois has improved significantly and believes the young challenger will use that growth to overcome the Ukrainian champion.
I think Dubois is going to beat him. That's my early prediction. I know a lot of people will obviously fancy Usyk, and rightfully so. And as much as I like Dubois and think he's getting better and all the rest of it, I'd like to see Usyk win. I think Usyk's a great fella and a great fighter, but I think Dubois will win.
With the showdown set for July 19th, boxing legends and insiders have all chimed in with their takes. Lewis, the last British man to hold the undisputed heavyweight title, has thrown his full support behind Dubois, insisting the young Brit is prepared, battle-hardened, and powerful enough to end Usyk's reign.
I'm thinking he's ready. You know, he's been through the trials and tribulations. He's the king slayer, and he's got the power. He's been there before, so he was just there. He knocked the guy down, so he knows what he needs to do. So it would be great for him to do it. Another man do it for Great Britain.
According to Lewis, Dubois has grown from his previous setbacks, having already dropped Usyk in their first bout. That experience, coupled with his continued rise through the ranks, has made him a more dangerous and matured fighter. Lewis believes Dubois now has what it takes to finish the job he started.
It's not an easy task, but he's definitely the man that can go through with it. He's done the work, he's gone through the pedigree, and he's a certified champion. So, you know, I think he has big hopes on doing it. He's going to do it.
It's an iconic night. I'm here at Wembley Stadium now. We've just had the press conference. There's something special about this place, and he knows it well. He knocked out Anthony Joshua right here. There's something special about Wembley, right, Lennox?
Yeah, real special about Wembley. I remember fighting there.
The psychological edge Dubois may carry into the fight is also worth noting. The controversy over a supposed low blow in their first meeting has been a lingering point of discussion. Lewis brought up the moment, suggesting that the referee may have unfairly bailed Usyk out, denying Dubois a legitimate knockdown.
You know, my eyes are not too good, but I would say that the ref let Alexander Usyk off in that punch. Gave him the benefit of the doubt.
And that's been really the argument from the Dubois side, is that Alexander Usyk, perhaps a different referee on a different night in a different stadium, which wasn't National Independence Day for Ukraine, maybe a different ref would have started counting that night.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it really depends on the refs. Also, a lot of fights really depend on the judges. You know, this is why you got to bring your own judges and get in there and mix it up. But, you know, I'm pretty confident with Daniel. He's a great guy.
For Lewis, this moment is more than just a footnote. It's a sign of weakness that Dubois should look to exploit. He encouraged the Brit to press the advantage, stay focused, and not give Usyk any more opportunities to escape.
I stand on, well, obviously he's seen a weakness in the first fight, so I believe that, you know, there's a weakness there. You got to attack it, and you know, don't give him no shortcuts, you know, in this fight. You know, this fight's everything, and I know Daniel's a pretty determined and focused fighter, so he's going to be ready for this fight, and that he's going to go out there and he's going to want to win. He's just going to want to win because this is his dream.
On the other side, not everyone is backing the British challenger. Tony Bellew, who was stopped by Usyk in 2018, remains firm in his belief that Usyk is not only the best heavyweight today, but arguably the best of the entire era. He praised Usyk's movement, skill, and mental strength, saying he's proven himself time and again by overcoming adversity.
He knows himself now though, Jim. Yeah. So he knows how hard it is, how tough it is. I believe the first fight with him that he'd had enough. He'd had enough, and he quit. So it is what it is. You can make as much of that or as little of it as you want. I think Daniel Dubois is now coming to a different stage in his career, where he's understanding now of what needs to be done and what's at stake. I think he's shown that he can overcome difficult times in fights now, and I think the victory over Anthony Joshua is going to propel his confidence levels to an all-time high. So I think he's well in this fight. I think he's a super dangerous challenger, and he'll go into it with a lot of belief, but I believe that belief will get shrunk. As the rounds pass and as the shots start getting landed on him, the questions will be asked of him again. Alexander Usyk will be victorious.
Bellew gave Dubois credit for his comeback journey and acknowledged the young man has surprised many with his resilience. But in Bellew's eyes, the first fight revealed something deeper. That Dubois gave up once before and might do so again. He predicted that Usyk would break him down once more, this time earning a stoppage between rounds 8 and 12.
He's already beaten Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois is a big, strong guy. immense power. I give him all the credit in the world. And he's overcome many demons, but he hasn't shown us yet that he can get this job done over 12 rounds. And I just don't see him stopping Alexander Usyk.
Martin Bakole also cast his lot with Usyk, referencing his own sparring experiences with both fighters. The powerful Congolese heavyweight confidently backed the Ukrainian, saying Usyk beats everyone in the division, except him. Bakole admitted he once thought Tyson Fury would end Usyk's run, but was stunned to see the Ukrainian win both times against the Gypsy King.
Usyk, nobody, I think, except me for right now, because he beat everyone. I don't know, because I don't know that the one to Wilders, I think, is done. But Usyk is boxing man, a boxing brain. The boxing movement, I don't think no one will stop him right now, except Martin Bakole. I know why I'm saying that, because I learned box from my brother who's Saxpo. Not only learn from that, but I know how to stop and cross the ring. But Daniel Dubois does. I was respecting the Usyk to get beat by a Gypsy King, but I was surprised, shocked he beat Gypsy King twice. And Joshua is good, it's a tough guy.
He critiqued Dubois' style, arguing that the Brit doesn't know how to cut off the ring, something that fighters like Joshua and even Wilder also struggle with. Bakole's belief is that Usyk's superior movement, footwork, and ring IQ will once again prove too much for Dubois, who, according to him, hasn't changed much stylistically since their first encounter.
But he doesn't know how to cross the ring. That's the reason why you see Usyk is schooling them. I think Daniel Dubois will never change. He'll just keep his style, but Usyk is more higher than him, and he's going to keep the same thing, same stuff, just try to avoid that box shot.
With opinions deeply divided, the fight itself promises to be a massive event. Usyk, for his part, appears motivated and focused, expressing gratitude for another chance to fight for the undisputed crown. He made it clear that he intends to reclaim the IBF belt Dubois currently holds and has no plans of letting go of his legacy.
My preparation was good. We great do my work, sparring session, condition training. Everything okay, all good.
Yeah, of course, fighting at Wembley Stadium. You fought at Tottenham before, which was a successful night for you. How special is it to grace a massive stadium in England?
Listen, sometimes when I was young, like I start my career, I see dream. But I boxing for big stadium, same like Wembley, Tottenham, yeah. But now it's real.
Meanwhile, Dubois is just as determined. Fighting in front of a home crowd at the National Stadium, he sees this as the ultimate opportunity for redemption. In his view, he should have won the first fight and was robbed by poor officiating. This time, he plans to leave, no doubt.
I believe that's the truth. I was there, I landed a shot, it was on the button, but he milked it, the crowd, and just the political environment that was going on at the time. It wasn't just a fight, it was bigger than that. So, and other things that happen in the background of that. So here we are, another chance to correct history and clear out the controversy.
Sharing his thoughts, Teddy Atlas expressed respect for both Alexander Usyk and Daniel Dubois, highlighting that he holds them in high regard not just as fighters, but as individuals as well. He went on to praise Usyk, noting that he has fought during a time when his country was under immense pressure, and that it's well-deserved for Usyk to dominate his opponents and celebrate his victories with the people.
I have respect for both guys. And look, we're close to Usyk, so I'm not going to hide that. And I think a lot of both of them, as men, forget about fighters, as men, I think a lot of Usyk, the man he is, what he's done really for his country, to really fight during the pressure of his country being torn apart and invaded by another country, by Russia, and to fight during those times and that going on in his country with his people, and just like I said, just destroying what he loves, Ukraine, and
At the same time, Atlas shared his appreciation for Daniel Dubois, noting how he has faced mental and emotional battles in his fights with Joe Joyce and Alexander Usyk. He praised Dubois for overcoming those challenges, calling it a true mark of a professional fighter. Teddy also acknowledged that Daniel has proven himself with his last 3 impressive performances.
The definition of fighting is overcoming. That's it. Overcoming. To be a champion, somewhere along the line, you got to find a way to overcome. And Dubois found that. Yeah, he gave in. I thought he gave in. He broke down. Mentally, emotionally, whatever you want to call it. Physically. But I think more mentally in both the Joyce fight and the Usyk fight. But he came back. He redeemed himself. And he did what you said. He fought those 3 tough fights. And those fights, I think he would have fought them for free. At least the first 2. Because it was about redeeming himself. It wasn't about getting paid. It was about finding out who he was. Finding out what kind of man he was.
Further adding to his thoughts, Teddy Atlas applauded Alexander Usyk, noting that he always finds a way to win. Reflecting on Usyk's previous fights, he praised the champion for his consistency and determination, emphasizing that he can never bet against him. While he showed respect for both fighters, Teddy made it clear that he leans more toward Usyk, not just as a fighter, but also for the way he represents his country.
Anyone who thinks that it's the same fight, they're wrong. I can't go against Usyk. I can't. Because the guy, his greatest strength is he always finds a way to win. Always. The amateurs, Olympic gold, cruiserweights, unified heavyweights, goes to London, fights a bigger guy, fights him twice, beats him. Then he goes and fights a bigger guy again, fights him twice, Fury, beats him. I mean, the guy knows how to, finds a way to win. He's special, but he's getting older. I would have preferred, like I said, I have nothing but admiration for both. I have some maybe extra love towards Usyk for everything he represents for his country.
Voicing his thoughts, Fraser Clark pointed out that Daniel Dubois is now a much improved fighter and believes he will approach this rematch very differently. He praised Dubois for his powerful punching ability and noted that this fight is not a cake but a real tough deal with Usyk as an opponent.
It gives a lot more. It's a different Dubois, it's a different fight. I think he gives a lot more problem. I think he's got a lot more confidence. I think he's starting to realise when he hits things, things fall over. You know, if he hits them often enough and clean enough, it doesn't matter who you are, if you're Usyk or whoever else. I know he's a tough man, Usyk, but if Daniel hits you often enough and hard enough, you break. It's very simple. It's not rocket science. Saying that, I know he's in great form and that, but this Usyk, mate, he's the real deal, mate. So no one just get giddy and get too excited about Daniel, mate.
Clark asserted that if Daniel Dubois remains focused and disciplined, he has the potential to trouble Alexander Usyk even more than he did in their first encounter.
The real deal in Alexander Usyk, when he needs to be tough and when he needs to be super smart, he's that as well. But I think Daniel, with the wave of confidence he's got, would cause him more problems now than he did before, definitely.
Breaking down the fight, Chris Eubank Jr. weighed in, noting that both Alexander Usyk and Daniel Dubois are coming off massive wins against top-level opponents. He observed that the outcome of this fight will largely depend on the mindset of both fighters, but stressed that Daniel Dubois is currently operating on another level.
I think Daniel Dubois, he's on a roll. He's coming off of a massive win against AJ. Usyk's also on a massive roll, so I think that fight's going to come down to mindset.
Meanwhile, Chris Algieri also emphasized that the rematch between Daniel Dubois and Alexander Usyk will be different. He stated that since their first fight, Dubois has faced 2 big-name opponents and has proven himself to be a true underdog. Algieri added that this time around, Dubois is coming in with a different energy and could potentially perform at an entirely new level.
But the narrative is much better for the Dubois rematch. You've got the fact that they fought, and then since then, Dubois has been on a tear, beating guys that he was the underdog against Ergovich, and then Anthony Joshua, of course. You know, the guy has like really revamped his entire career, turned it around, gone from a guy that people saw as a quitter to being potentially the most dangerous man in the world. So you've got this narrative now that Dubois is a different guy, so this rematch will be different. Also, you have the fact that Usyk, in the ring after his win over Tyson Fury, Dubois came into the ring, challenged him, and Usyk said, Your Excellency, Turkey, make the fight with Dubois. He's a man of his word. That guy says something.
Reflecting on his thoughts, Dune McKenzie pointed out that this fight is the best of the best, with two heavyweight champions going head-to-head. He noted that although he admires Alexander Usyk, he holds great respect for Daniel Dubois. Looking back on Dubois' fight with Anthony Joshua, he observed how Daniel managed to change everyone's perspective with his impressive fighting skills against Joshua.
Between Usyk and Dubois is the best of the best. We've got the two best heavyweights on the planet going head-to-head again. Now, you know, I'm a big fan of Daniel Dubois. I'm probably a bigger fan of Dubois than I'm of Usyk. I like Usyk also, but I like Dubois and I like everything he stands for, everything he represents, and the way that he carries himself. Tipped Dubois to beat AJ, and at a point where the whole nation or a lot of people were picking AJ to win, I looked at Dubois and I thought to myself, you know what? He's a good all-rounder. He's got some good moves. He hits hard, jabs well, good stamina. You know, so there was a lot of tick boxes, and then I did the tick box on AJ, and Dubois came out on top for me.
Along with the guests, Duke McKenzie went on to highlight that Alexander Usyk possesses exceptional athleticism and reaffirmed his belief that there is no one on earth capable of beating Usyk. His guest, though, played the devil's advocate, pointing out that Daniel Dubois' improvement and aggressive wins since his first fight with Usyk are worth noting.
Counter punches well, attacks well, works you up and down. You know, he's very, very systematic in what he does, and you know, like I say, if Dubois was fighting anybody else, I'd back him 100%. But I don't think there's a heavyweight on the planet who can beat Usyk right now.
Yeah, this isn't going to be much of an argument because I agree with everything you've said, but I am going to be devil's advocate in this conversation. People will say that Dubois has had a chance to improve, that he has improved, that he's produced impressive wins, that he bounced back from what was a humiliation by Usyk. He was stopped with a jab in round 9. He was broken down by Usyk in Wroclaw. Myself and Barry Jones were lucky enough to be sitting right behind the low blow. That wasn't there was a low blow, of course, but
As the countdown to July 19th continues, fans around the world are left wondering, is this finally the moment Dubois breaks through and becomes the new undisputed king, or will Usyk prove once again why he's the best of a generation? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Smash that like button if you're hyped for the fight. Share this with your boxing crew, and don't forget to subscribe for all the latest updates leading to fight night.